Hello y'all, this is Ninja DC. Today, in the memory of Naruto's end, I thought it would be appropriate to go over my top 7 most memorable moments from the series. Why 7? Well, all my future list videos will be flexible in their numbering, where the subject itself influences it. And since Naruto just ended at exactly 700 chapters, I feel 7 fits. Also, yeah, there will be spoilers. Before we begin, let me just make this clear. This is my top list that I in no way am saying are the most absolute best moments in the series, but are just the 7 most memorable moments to me based on the content itself and the influence it had on the characters and the fandom. Also, yeah, their order has no significance, save the last one, which I do consider the most memorable moment in the series. Okay, let's start with the event that kicked off Naruto Part 2. Honestly, how could I not include this on my list? As I said, it's the very moment that split Naruto into two, marking the birth of Shippuden. Up until this point, Naruto and Sasuke feuded a lot, but at the end of the day they were still friends, willing to put their lives on the line to protect one another. However, Sasuke, after being defeated by his brother, decides that Konohana cannot give him any more of the training he needs and seeks out Orochimaru, thus throwing away his good side to embrace the power of darkness. Yeah, Sasuke, I think a preteen being unable to defeat one of the most powerful Uchiha of all times is not a sign that your training was bad, but I don't know, maybe a sign that you were a bucking preteen taking on an SS level villain. Sorry, I just had that on my chest for like several years now.
Love. Is that the thing that makes him so strong?
What top list is not complete without a tie? And this tie is for 2 moments that are so closely linked I can't really separate them and pick a winner. The first being Gaara's reformation, which was the first big character reformation in the series that would later become infamous for it. We see Gaara go from the insomniac psycho to a person willing to open his heart once more after Naruto reaches out his hand in friendship, after reaching out his fist. However, we really don't get to see the effects till Shippuden, where Gaara has become Kage of his village. At this point, we see just how much Gaara has changed, with his driving motivation now being to protect his village, that he himself is even unsure if they even care about him. And then, bam. Here we get to see Gaara learn that he is indeed loved once more, and is bucking touching. On the subject of Naruto befriending people, let's talk about one of the biggest successes in the endeavor when he befriended the Nine-Tailed Fox. Yeah, I guess that's technically not a person. Whatever. It's fascinating to see how this was handled as well. This was not some big grand explosion event like Gaara, but a subtle change over a series of battles that you slowly watched the progression as the Nine-Tailed Fox slowly started to realize that Naruto was genuine in his declaration of friendship. The demon fox trapped inside went from a curse to an eternal companion. There's a reason they chose this as the last image of the Naruto series.
そして俺がおかげになる
I know this choice might seem odd, and many will call out quite justifiably that Sasuke was still corrupt, which yeah, is true. But what I love about this moment, besides the humor, was how it marked the end of Sasuke's quest for revenge. He generally decided his goal would be to become the next Hokage and use his position to force peace in the ninja world. While his path to peace was still at this point very corrupt and dictatorial, it was still a path that led to a goal transcending his never-ending chain of revenge. That is why I consider it such a pivotal moment for Sasuke, even more pivotal than his final actual reformation.
さて、そろそろペンを置くとしよう。
Jumping from a pivotal moment for Sasuke was a pivotal moment for Naruto and Naruto fans. The battle of Perfect Sage and Pain, and Jiraiya's subsequent death. Almost every long ongoing anime series has that one death scene, where the narrative hits the fan. This is, spoilers be damned, the major hues or the L moments that completely shake up the playing field and shatter fan hearts. It's no coincidence that these persons are often in fact the comic relief or serve some form of comic relief, and whose passing also sort of marks the death of innocence within the series. And Jiraiya, the Perfect Sage, is that death for Naruto. And on top of that, he gets to go out with one hell of a bang.
I love you, Naruto. Sasuke doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I was totally crazy to ever like him in the first place.
Yeah, I know many of you are probably thinking, what the buck am I thinking? But this was one of the most memorable moments for me for a reason. How it affected the Naruto fandom is that reason. I still remember crystal clear after this chapter was released, there was a wave of silence and shock on the Naruto boards. Like some sort of great disaster had just struck and no one, fans or haters, knew actually how to respond. This masterpiece of a failed confession torpedoed HMS Narusaku, and now that the series is over, I can confirm that that ship never recovered. For those of you still listening that are not fans of Naruto, in the Naruto fandom there were 3 big ships that were violently defended by its supporters: Naruto x Hinata, Sasuke x Sakura, and Naruto x Sakura. Guess which 2 often fought? Ever since Shippuden began, Naruto and Sakura have been getting closer and closer. Sakura actually started to treat Naruto with some respect and worry about him, and even do some shipping tease moments like feeding him when he was too weak to feed himself. And looking at it from a general manga and anime standpoint, it seems to make sense for the male lead and female leads to hook up. And then...
Just stop. I hate people who lie to themselves, so just stop it!
This scene, as I noted, was a masterpiece of a failure. From the super fake and forced emotions built on attempted manipulation, Naruto's cold and blunt reaction, and the all too important realization that though all the he's done, Sakura still has feelings for Sasuke. I mean, I wish I could better describe how much of a train wreck Sakura's confession was, but just go rewatch for yourself. Now before I give my number 1, here are some few honorable mentions. First off, Neji's death, as he died so Naruhito could live. Naruto and Sasuke's final battle, really don't need to explain that one, as it is very important, but its rushed nature and really at this point very obvious resolution made it less impactful to me than their actual original fight. Also worth mentioning for sheer badassery is Guy going 8 gates. I knew it would happen at some point, and boy did it not disappoint. And finally, my number 1 Naruto moment. Yeah, part of what made Sakura's confession so bad was just how good Hinata's was, as she put her life on the line to protect Naruto in a knowingly suicidal act. This only marked the beginning of the climax for Naruto's battle with pain. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, that battle at some point must have been intended to be Naruto's final battle, as he confronts his master's former student. This battle had everything from shocking death and destruction, side characters getting their moments to shine, and most importantly Naruto finally being recognized as a hero of Konoha. This battle was much better handled than the actual true fight, and we as an audience also had much more of an emotional investment into the villain. This fight, in my opinion, was the peak of Naruto Shippuden. A peak this series attempted to, but failed to match in the coming years. Well, those are my top 7 most memorable moments in Naruto, at least in my current state in mind. As years pass, this might change, but currently these are the ones that stand out. Well, this is the Ninja DC. Keep calm and an open mind. And please feel free to tell me your 7 most memorable moments from Naruto in the comment section below. Another funny thing you learn if you follow the Naruto anime is how the staff within the anime tends to really like Hinata, and often plays up her roles in episodes and making her one of the most popular recurring filler companions. They don't even try to hide this fact one bit.
ひなた、さくらさん、新しいエンディング、あれ何なのよ。どういうことですか？ヒロインの私を差し置いて、なんで一人でエンディングに出られるわけ？そんな私知りません。これよ、これ。まさかあんたスタッフに賄賂でも送ったんじゃないでしょ。